What if that 1111 you keep seeing isn't just a number, but a message from heaven made just for you? If you're ready to find out what God is really saying, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs this divine reminder too. Have you ever looked at the clock and seen 1111 again and again until it almost felt like it was following you? What if it's not just a coincidence? What if heaven is trying to get your attention? This video is for every chosen soul who feels like there's something deeper going on, something beyond logic, something your spirit can feel even when your mind can't explain it. If you've been seeing 1111 and wondering what God is trying to say, then you're exactly where you need to be right now. In this message, we're going to open a powerful conversation between time and eternity, between your calling and God's voice. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, your heart will not only understand the meaning behind 1111, you'll feel heaven's whisper in your spirit in a way you can't ignore. Don't scroll away. This moment might be the confirmation you've been praying for. God's voice is not always thunder in the sky or writing on the wall. Often it's a still whisper wrapped in mystery, showing up in ways that only the awakened spirit can recognize. One of those ways is through numbers, not just ordinary numbers, but numbers with divine fingerprints on them. Heaven does not waste symbols, and when God keeps showing a number like 1111, especially to the chosen ones, it's not a coincidence. It's a conversation. It's a divine nudge from eternity trying to awaken something in the now. God speaks in symbols and codes, in dreams and signs, and in patterns that pull our attention away from the natural and into the supernatural. This language is not random. It is precise. It is sacred, and it is aimed at those whose hearts are sensitive to heaven's rhythm. The chosen one isn't just anyone. They are the ones marked by divine appointment, often walking through life with questions others never even ask. When God repeatedly shows them 1111, He is not simply offering a cute moment or a strange pattern. He is sending a message, layered in meaning and rich in intention. Because heaven doesn't speak just to be heard. It speaks to awaken, to align, to activate. And 1111 is part of that spiritual vocabulary. It's not about numerology or superstition. It's about sacred timing, about moments that break through the fabric of time to grab the attention of the spirit. God knows how to speak your language, and sometimes that language is symbolic, quiet, and deeply personal. The number 1 represents unity, beginnings, divine order. When it repeats, it carries even more weight. 4 ones side by side stand like pillars, unchanging, steady, powerful. They are reminders of God's unshakable presence, of His perfection in simplicity, of His voice that never stutters when He speaks through patterns. God's communication through 1111 is not about the number alone. It's about what your spirit feels when you see it. That pause, that inner echo, that unexplainable sense that something deeper is happening. That's where the message is. That's where heaven hides its treasures, in still moments that only the chosen can interpret. God often bypasses logic to reach the heart. He knows that signs awaken what sermons sometimes can't. He knows that the soul speaks a language of knowing, of sensing, of divine recognition. And when a chosen one sees 1111 again and again, it is God pulling the curtain back and saying, "I'm here, pay attention." It is an invitation to lean in closer, to be more aware of the movement of God in your life. Heaven is not trying to impress you, it is trying to prepare you. And to the chosen one, that number becomes more than a number. It becomes a whisper, a knock, a pattern that reminds you that you are being led, even when you feel lost. This divine repetition is not just about what is being shown, it's about who is being shown. You are being seen. You are being summoned. You are being reminded that your life is part of a larger picture, and in that moment, 1111 is not just a clock. It is a mirror. It reflects God's timing, God's order, and God's presence. It's a secret between you and the one who called you before the world began, and every time it appears, It calls something deeper out of you, something that has been asleep, something that needs to rise again, something that was always meant to live wide awake to the voice of God. There are moments in life when the natural world seems to pause and something beyond the ordinary breaks through. These are not accidents or coincidences, especially for the chosen ones, those who have been set apart by God for a divine purpose. When 1111 keeps showing up again and again, it's not just a random sequence. It's not just a quirk of the clock. It is a spiritual signal, an alert from heaven, trying to stir something deep within. This number appears when the soul is in transition, when something old is closing and something new is trying to begin. It is heaven's way of calling attention to the unseen movement of the Spirit. God is not hiding from his people. He is communicating, but not always with words. Sometimes he speaks through signs, through patterns, through a repeated image that refuses to be ignored. 1111 is often seen by those who are on the edge of a breakthrough, even if they don't know it yet. It comes to those whose spiritual eyes are beginning to open, even while their physical circumstances seem unchanged. This is what makes the chosen different. They feel things before they see them. They sense the pull of eternity, even when life feels stuck in the now. And when they keep seeing 1111, it's as if heaven is saying, "Wake up, pay attention, something is happening." It is not just a number. It is a signal, a trumpet in the spirit realm sounding off to the one who is being prepared for a shift. In many ways, 1111 acts like a doorway. It is a moment when the spiritual world aligns with the natural, when timing from heaven kisses the hour of the earth. The chosen one begins to feel a stirring, an awareness that there is more going on than what the eyes can see. This is not emotional hype or mystical confusion. It is a quiet awakening, a moment when God leans in and speaks without speaking. The soul recognizes it before the mind does. The pattern begins to show up in the middle of stress, in the middle of rest, in random places and ordinary moments. And yet, something about it feels purposeful. It starts to feel like God is highlighting that number for a reason. This number shows up in seasons of transition, because that is when we are most spiritually sensitive. When the ground beneath us is shifting, when familiar things begin to change, when comfort no longer satisfies. That's when heaven speaks in ways we can't ignore. And 1111 becomes a companion in that process. It doesn't offer an explanation, it doesn't reveal every step, but it tells the chosen one, you are not alone in this. God is guiding you even when you can't feel the full map. In this way, the number becomes a message of hope, a gentle nudge to stay alert, to trust the journey, to remain open to the hand of God even when you cannot trace it. Many times, 1111 shows up when the chosen are tempted to give up, when prayers feel unanswered, when the journey feels heavy. That's when God sends a reminder through something as simple as a number to say, I see you, don't stop now. And the more it appears, the more it awakens something inside, a spiritual curiosity, a sense of expectancy, a desire to draw nearer to the one who is calling. This awakening is not about fear or superstition. It is about readiness. It is about becoming sensitive again to the movement of God in the middle of ordinary life. When God chooses to reveal himself in this way, he is not just showing you a number, he is showing you that your spirit is ready to hear him in ways you couldn't before. There are seasons in life where everything feels uncertain. Doors close unexpectedly, prayers seem delayed, answers feel distant. In these moments, the human heart begins to question whether God is still near or whether he's still leading. For the chosen one, these seasons are not signs of abandonment, but rather invitations to trust at a deeper level. And in the middle of that confusion, God often chooses to speak not through loud voices, but through divine patterns, small yet significant signals, like the repetition of 1111. When 1111 keeps appearing, it is not a sign of chaos, but a reminder that God's order is still in place, even when nothing around you seems to reflect it. God is not a God of confusion. He is the author of structure, of purpose, of perfect timing. And when he begins to show a chosen one something over and over, It is because he wants to anchor their faith in something beyond what they can understand in the moment. 1111 is a symbol of divine order and heavenly alignment. When everything around you feels messy and unpredictable, God sends signs to remind your spirit that He is still writing the story. He is still the one who orders steps, who numbers your days, who knows the end from the beginning. The repetition of 1111 is a message written between the lines of your daily life, declaring that divine precision is working behind the scenes. The chosen often walk through trials that others don't see. There's a pressure they carry, a calling they didn't ask for, and a process they can't avoid. Sometimes it feels like they're surrounded by more questions than answers. But this is where faith matures. This is where heaven whispers, "Trust me." And sometimes that whisper comes in the form of a number that won't stop showing up. 1111 doesn't come to confuse, it comes to reassure. It comes to tell the chosen that although the journey feels uncertain, heaven's blueprint is still unfolding. It comes to say that what looks like disorder is actually divine design under construction. Oh, God has always used signs to guide His people. From the cloud by day and fire by night, to dreams, visions, and prophetic messages, He has never been silent toward those who walk with Him. But the chosen must learn to recognize His language, especially in the subtle moments. 1111 is one of those subtle but powerful reminders. It's a symbol that says, things may look out of place, but they're falling into place according to my will. It's not a sign to worry. It's a sign to rest in God's sovereignty. The order of the numbers, the symmetry, the simplicity, they all reflect the unshakable order of God's nature. When a chosen one sees 1111 during seasons of confusion, it is God reminding them to look higher, not to get lost in the chaos, but to remember who holds the universe together. God is not just present in miracles, He is present in the patterns. He is the same God who set the stars in motion and keeps time by His own rhythm. The number is a quiet declaration that divine order still reigns, no matter how unpredictable the journey feels. For the chosen one, this is more than comfort. It is a calling to keep trusting even when understanding isn't available. In times when the enemy tries to plant fear or doubt, God uses these symbols to anchor the soul. 1111 becomes a moment of alignment, a flash of clarity in a fog of confusion. It doesn't explain everything, but it reminds the chosen that everything is still held together by a faithful and sovereign hand. The number keeps showing up, not to impress, but to assure, not to confuse, but to confirm. God is not absent, He is actively orchestrating what feels invisible. And 1111 is the silent rhythm of His perfect order pulsing through your story. There is a reason why certain numbers stir something in the spirit. It's not because the numbers themselves are magical, but because heaven sometimes chooses the simplest things to speak the deepest truths. The number 1 in Scripture holds great meaning. It speaks of unity, of wholeness, of oneness with God. It represents the undivided nature of His being and His call for us to walk in harmony with Him. When God shows 1111 to the chosen one, He is not just pointing to a time. He is highlighting a message of divine agreement, of covenant, of heavenly alignment that cannot be overlooked. 4 ones standing side by side is not a random repetition. It is a declaration of something sacred, something established in eternity, something that heaven is now confirming on earth. Throughout the Bible, covenant is always marked by repetition and confirmation. When God makes a promise, He confirms it, He seals it, He repeats it. And to the chosen one who keeps seeing 1111, this is heaven's way of saying, I haven't forgotten what I've promised. I am in agreement with what I've spoken over your life. God does not make empty declarations. When He speaks, His word goes out with purpose. The appearance of 1111 becomes a spiritual reminder that the chosen one is walking under the shadow of divine covenant. Even when circumstances seem to contradict the promise, God keeps showing the sign to remind His child that the agreement still stands. It has not been cancelled. It has not expired. It is active and alive. God has always used symbols to express his agreement. In the Old Testament, he gave rainbows, altars, stones, and even stars to remind his people of what he had promised. Today, he may use the clock, not to mystify but to minister. When 11:11 continues to appear to someone who is set apart, it is a quiet echo of heaven saying, "Yes, I am still with you. Yes, my hand is still on your life. Yes, I still intend to fulfill what I have started in you." This repeated symbol becomes like a divine seal, reaffirming what the enemy has tried to make you forget. It becomes a silent but powerful reassurance that you are still under the covering of the Most High. The chosen one often walks a path filled with trials, delays, and moments of deep internal warfare. It's easy in those moments to question whether God is still close, whether his promises are still in motion. That is exactly why he speaks through patterns like 11:11, because patterns cut through confusion. Symbols reach the spirit even when the mind is tired. When that number appears again and again, it carries a weight beyond words. It speaks of oneness with God's will. It declares that heaven is in agreement with your destiny. It reminds you that you are not just wandering, you are walking in covenant. Even Jesus said, "Let it be established in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses." Repetition is God's way of confirming truth. When he repeats something to you, especially through signs, it's not because he forgot what he said, it's because he wants you to remember. He wants it etched into your spirit. He wants it sealed in your soul. 11:11 is one of those seals. It's a heavenly agreement repeated over and over until your heart finally believes again. It may not answer every question, but it answers the most important one: am I still chosen? And heaven replies through that sign, "Yes, you are. The covenant still stands. I am still in agreement with your calling." The number becomes a divine echo of God's faithful yes, reminding you that what he started, he will complete. There are certain moments in life when everything feels like it's standing still, yet something inside is moving. It's a quiet stirring that doesn't have words, but won't go away. For the chosen one, these moments often come with signs, subtle, repeated, deliberate. One of the clearest and most persistent is the number 11:11. It appears not just randomly, but at specific times when something deep is shifting. This number becomes more than a coincidence. It becomes a signal that you are standing on the threshold of something holy, something written into the story of your life long before you were born. It marks the point where your preparation is about to collide with your purpose. It is not a pause, it's a portal, a gate between what has been and what is about to be. God is always working in layers. He never wastes a step, never misses a detail. He doesn't just call you, he prepares you. He doesn't just open a door, he builds the character to walk through it. 11:11 shows up when the season you've been walking through is about to shift. It's a signpost that says you're closer than you think. For the chosen one, who often walks through trials that test patience and faith, this number is a message from heaven that destiny is not delayed. It's aligning. It's about to be revealed. It's waiting for the precise moment to break forth. And 11:11 keeps showing up as a reminder that the time is drawing near. Many times those who are chosen carry burdens they cannot explain. They sense things others don't, wrestle with assignments others can't see, and feel the weight of spiritual responsibility before anything is visible. It's in these hidden seasons that 11:11 begins to appear. It's not there to distract, it's there to declare. It's a sign that the hidden work has not been in vain, that the secret prayers, the quiet obedience, the silent sacrifices have all been seen. This number is heaven's way of saying, you've been faithful in the waiting, now you're standing at the edge of release. It's not a finish line, it's a beginning, a sacred crossing from what was into what will be. The number 11:11 also speaks of alignment, 4 standing tall, side by side, like a heavenly gate being opened. It reflects perfect symmetry. It's as if heaven is saying, everything is lining up, you're in the right place at the right time. For someone who's felt out of sync, unsure, or off track, this is a powerful reassurance. It says, you haven't missed it. You're exactly where you need to be. It brings peace in the midst of uncertainty and strength in the face of fear. The chosen one doesn't always see the full picture, but they are being led step by step. And 1111 becomes a confirmation that they are on the right path. When you see 1111 repeatedly, it's not just a visual pattern, it's a prophetic moment, a divine alert that your life is crossing into a new chapter. You're standing where prophecy and preparation meet. You're at the threshold of destiny, and heaven is making sure you don't miss it. This number isn't there to entertain your curiosity. It's there to activate your courage. It reminds you that it's time to move forward, to trust deeper, to walk through the open door without fear. You are not behind. You are right on time. And 1111 is the signal that the next stage is ready for you to enter. God isn't just calling you, He's ushering you in. The gate is open, and heaven is waiting for your yes. There are times when God does not speak in the thunder or the earthquake, but in a still, small voice that only the surrendered heart can hear. For the chosen one, this voice often comes through signs that appear again and again, not because God is repeating Himself for His sake, but because He wants to make sure the message is not missed. When 1111 keeps showing up, it is not a random occurrence. It is a sacred invitation. It is heaven reaching down with urgency, calling the chosen one into a deeper place of intimacy, obedience, and spiritual sensitivity. The frequency of this sign is not accidental. It's intentional. It carries a weight that presses on the soul and demands a response. God does not show 1111 to everyone. It is reserved for those whose spirits have been awakened or are being awakened. It appears to those who are marked for something greater, those who have been set apart for a divine purpose. When it comes repeatedly, it is heaven's way of saying, I'm calling you closer. I'm calling you higher. I'm calling you deeper. This number becomes more than a moment. It becomes a message, not to be admired but to be answered. God is not just showing something to be noticed, He's giving something to be acted upon. The more it appears, the more the chosen one must pause, pray, and pursue. There is urgency in repetition. When God repeats a thing, it's because timing matters. The window is open, the season is shifting, the assignment is ready, and God wants you to be positioned in full awareness. 1111 is not a suggestion, it's a summons. It's the knock of heaven at the door of your spirit, calling you to wake up from any spiritual sleep and prepare your heart for what's coming. It's not about fear, it's about readiness. It's about being sensitive enough to know when to move, when to pray, when to step out, when to wait, and when to obey without hesitation. For the chosen one, obedience is not optional, it's essential. The journey requires more than belief, it requires surrender. God is calling not just for awareness, but for action. When you keep seeing 1111, it's heaven's way of saying, you've seen the signs, now it's time to respond. This is a call to cleanse what needs cleansing, to let go of what needs to be released, and to step boldly into the next phase of your calling. It is not a passive sign, it is a prophetic instruction. God is not trying to impress you with patterns, He is preparing you for purpose. Intimacy with God grows through obedience. The more you yield, the clearer His voice becomes. The more you respond, the more He reveals. 1111 is not about making a wish, it's about making a decision to draw near when others drift, a decision to follow when the way is unclear, a decision to trust even when you're trembling. The number becomes a spiritual compass, guiding the chosen one toward what eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. It's a call to walk not just by faith, but by obedience, born from closeness with the Father. When God repeats a sign like 1111, it's because you've reached a point in your journey where response is critical. This is a divine turning point, not to be ignored. Heaven is leaning in, and your spirit must lean in as well. The time for delay is over. The time for halfway obedience is over. What's ahead requires a fully surrendered yes, and that yes must come not from obligation, but from intimacy, from knowing that the one who calls you is faithful and his instructions are always filled with life. This number doesn't just mark time, it marks a shift. And for the chosen one, it means the season of hesitation is ending and the season of obedience is beginning. The repeated appearance of 1111 is not a random moment nor an accidental glance. It is a divine invitation, a spiritual signal sent straight from heaven to the chosen ones. God is not trying to confuse you with patterns, He's awakening you with purpose. Each time you see 1111, heaven is saying something intentional. It is a call to awaken, to align, to remember who you are and what you were created for. It's a reminder that God's order is at work, even in your chaos, and that His promises are still alive, even in your waiting. It confirms His covenant, signals a threshold, and calls you into deeper intimacy and radical obedience. These signs are not about superstition, they are about sensitivity. They are not about numbers, they are about your name being called from eternity. When God shows you 1111, He is not simply telling you that something is coming, He is telling you that it's already here. The question is not whether He's speaking, the question is, are you ready to respond? Thank you for opening your heart and taking this sacred journey with me. If this message stirred your spirit, I encourage you to stay sensitive to the voice of God in all the ways He speaks. He is near, He is faithful, and He is calling you into something greater. If you are blessed by this word, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, so this message can reach others who are also hearing the call of heaven. Stay faithful, stay watchful, and above all, stay close to the one who keeps showing up right on time. God bless you.